Welcome Home Radio Podcast. Are you looking to buy or sell your home? Our team is here with answers to guide you through the buying and selling process. We encourage you to ask questions. Please comment on this show or visit us at welcomehomeradio.net for more information. Bringing real estate, lending, and education together in one place, and to help you make the right home decision for you and your family.
And welcome to Welcome Home Radio, where real estate, lending, and learning do come together. It is February 25th, 2026. Boy, it's been what a year already. I mean, I wanted to say this the last show, and I didn't mention it, but I am very sad to see the Seattle Seahawks win the Super Bowl. I'm sorry. I know it's late in the month, bringing it up, but I put them in the same bailiwick as Philadelphia Eagles. I can't cheer for them. I'm not happy for them, but I'll go from there. Hey, we got a great show. Welcome, guys. Tom, Jeff, great to see you. We've got many more questions on the condition of the market, and I want to jump right into it because this is really a powerful one. Welcome Home Radio. As a pre-approved buyer, should I act now or wait for even better rates or prices to drop? Well, I'm going to jump in here and say, look, you don't buy homes on rate timing. You buy homes on life timing, life conditions. What is your lifestyle? What is the family situation? Are you needing educational school district? What is the situation? Rate should not be the decision factor in buying a home. That's my opinion, my direct. How do y'all respond to that?
Totally agree.
I always respond, of course, you should wait for rates to get down to 3%.
Boy, I'm glad to know the position you hold.
Please remember, this is Tom, the caveman realtor.
Now, how many licensed realtors are out and about in the world that he's trained and helped them get their certifications?
Wow.
I just like to be a little bird in the saddle, you know?
That's funny.
Rates can always be refinanced as things change, as the market moves, but buying the right home for you and your family is the critical. It is a life timing situation, not a rate timing. I stand by that. No matter what my co-hosts say, please take the advantage. You're a home buyer now. You're pre-approved. Find the home for the reasons you need. If you don't need to move, okay. You have flexibility. That's great. But my first one, my response, I will stand by as life timing, not rate timing. Again, refinancing later can happen. Now, you can also, if you wait, you might increase competition due to inventory less. You could have a lot more people buying. So the sooner you do, as opposed to getting in competition and paying more for the home instead of what you could have paid, that's always a concern. When it becomes a seller's market, now you're in competition. And be aware that they took full advantage of that.
Gentlemen, a couple of times lately, we've had the question about prices dropping. And I'm not sure where that's coming from. So if I've missed something, let me know. But I'm not seeing anywhere where that's an expectation. But we've had it brought to us a couple times lately.
Well, a lot of people are spamming the internet and thinking they have, sellers want to sell. And yes, there's certain situations in certain part of the country. I want to leave Wyoming out in the middle of nowhere, and I want to move to the big city. So yeah, I'm slashing the prices of my home. But in our North Texas area where we're finding prices, builders are still going further out and prices are not coming down. Starter homes are still starter homes at $285 on up to $400. So the bottom line of it is you're not going to see home prices until inventory just explodes. And now there's competition for qualified buyers, but you're also going to find more people jumping into the market.
Mm-hmm.
So location, state, whatever, it depends, I think, on answering that question about when do prices drop. What do you think, Tom?
Well, to hope that there are, how do I organize this? there are pockets out there that have seen softening in pricing. So, does that mean a reflection the entire market's going to do that? Well, that's never the case anyway. I mean, when prices fell by drastic amounts back in 2007, 8, and 9, you were still seeing a holding of certain areas where there's not a lot of inventory that sells, that people are happy with their neighbors, that they don't want to see that, and they'll wait through those lowering of the pricing in their neighborhoods. But like you said, I think the biggest condition for buying is your family situation. Or do you want to have kids? Do you want to have stability? Do you want to have a school system for your kids that you want to move to that's better? You know, a lot of people love buying in the downtown Dallas area, the remade areas and so on and so forth. And then once they have the kid, it's 3 or 4 years later, they're thinking, I want to move to suburbia where I can go to a school district where we're seeing, you know, all the layoffs in school districts.
You know, we have school selective rights here in Texas, right?
And we do have that choice as far as that goes. Great.
But no, I agree with you. I think there's a lot of situations. It is a life change. One of the big real risk in waiting, one, rent's going to continue to go up. In the same areas where home prices are stable or going up, rent continues to rise. Equity growth is delayed. You have to realize that. You're not going to have 5, 10, 20 unless you put it down equity. But you may end up paying more for the home you wanted where you could have gotten it sooner if you went on and bought now and not waited on the rate gain of what you hear people quote unquote saying, oh yeah, rates are going to come down, rates are going to do this, rates are going to do that. The bottom line is it's a life timing situation and you need to individually take it in for your life. And that's where working with a lender that you work well with and understands your situation is important, and the loan programs. There could be sellers right now. I still know sellers are helping to buy rate down. My goodness, take on to it. A 2-1 buy down that's paid for by the seller, not you, is a huge deal. Huge
Absolutely.
Deal. So the opportunities are here. You just have to work the market and what you can do best and be aware of the opportunities. Let's not just do rate watching. And I bet you there's a lot of realtors out there that are working with clients that are, oh, we're waiting on rate timing, the perfect conditions. It usually backfires on you. So moving on, Welcome Home Radio. Is the market working for me or against me in this market?
Well, why do you have to take it personal?
Question.
First of all, this is its own entity and it's its own machine, so don't take it personal.
Oh, come on. And again, it depends on if you're a buyer. We don't understand if you're a buyer or a seller in this situation. But if you're, you know, most buyers have more leverage right now than sellers. It is a buyer's market. It's a negotiable market. That means sellers will come to the door with monies, concessions, so forth. If you're a seller, is it against me or for me?
Right now, it's almost going to feel against because, correct me if I'm wrong, we think about this. We expected more of like the baby boomers to downsizing and selling. We're not seeing that quite as we thought we'd already start seeing it. But just like some of our other conversations, if you're sitting in this, you're in that age range, but you still have a mortgage, why, even though you want to move down 1,000 square feet and you're going to be paying the same price, just, I'm sure, you know, I've lived here 25 years, even though my kids are gone. Why do I want to downsize and lose this home, my family home, when it's going to be the same mortgage?
Tom, it sounds like he's trying to talk about us.
I know, right?
Names or
I'm not going to take it personally.
You can't see my finger pointing from under the camera angle.
Yes, that is true. Baby boomers are setting. I am one of them. Why do I want to move? I'm an empty nester. I have more house than what I could use, but I'm not going to move because I can't find what I want, where I want, for the price that I think is reasonable.
So at some point, you're going to need to put an elevator in then. That's what you're telling me?
What's that?
At some point, you're going to need to put an elevator in.
No, at some point, I'm going to buy a one-story.
There you go. That conversation comes up a lot at my house.
Ignoring that I have a second story altogether.
Right.
I'm discovering new things on the second story since my grandkids are in town. So, they require.
There you go.
But no, that is very true. And in this market, sellers are dominant in the sense of sellers are going to be taken advantage if they want to sell. So, we don't want to short sell anything. You want to get equity out of it. But seller paid closing costs, and it's a buyer's market right now. It's working against you as a seller for the most part. Buyers, it's working for you, but you have to be ready to negotiate and possibly change some of your priorities. Maybe you buy a home without that pool your wife has to have, or that I had to give up my circular drive. I had to, 20 years ago, I had to give up having a circular drive in my front yard and allow my wife to buy the home we bought. So, love you, honey.
You didn't think she's listening, do you?
not that I'm carrying that anvil for the last 20 plus years.
Are you saying my wife doesn't listen, Jeff?
I'm just going to make an assumption. I know her, and I know she's a busy lady, so I know my wife doesn't. She gets to hear my blowhard all the time. So,
okay, moving on. Our final question for this show. Even though I am approved, can I really afford this home? Wow,
beautiful.
This person's finally getting into the depth of actually what buying real estate's all about. Approval means you can buy, but not that you should. When does this come around? This comes around when insurance is added, taxes are added, cost of utilities, what you're putting in your home, all to support. If you're buying with a pool, my goodness, are you maintaining that pool or paying somebody to maintain it? Can you, are you taking care of your own lawn care? Are you paying somebody? All of these additional costs that are never calculated in the lender portion, but can you afford it? You want maximum quality of life, not maximum quality of debt.
Well said.
So, focus on the monthly reality, looking beyond PI and PTI, looking at the cost of the home. What about HOA dues? What about utilities and maintenance? I tell you what, that's the most frustrating thing in these 30-year-old homes. The maintenance, the remodel. I wish we could upgrade this. It's funny. We did our windows in our house, and it seemed like everybody was trickled down from there. The whole neighborhood started redoing windows all across. It's a natural thing when they and you have to be aware of the age of the home so that you understand what's that amount. And then stress tests. Can you afford the payment? How close are you to your debt to income? Are you going to be able to save and meet your other goals? What trade-offs are you willing to do? Are you going to eat at home more instead of eating out? I have a friend that I tell you, they eat out 12 times a week.
Yikes.
Yes. She doesn't like cooking. They've been married a long time. He puts up with it. Buying a home didn't make much sense with a big kitchen whenever she doesn't cook. Trade-offs.
Oh.
And then here's the other thing. It's funny, and you brought up about baby boomers, but travel. This new generation, hey, you're not going to own anything and like it type mentality. They want to travel. Is buying a home the right thing for them to do if they want to travel plus upkeep of a home? Paying utilities, picking up mail, all of that, security of your home. If your day-to-day life is travel and not I mean, my wife and I are homebodies. We love our home. We love taking care of our home. We love spending time at our home. So the bottom line of it is we like going home and living there, having friends over now and then. Notice you guys don't come over very much. So,
You said friends.
He did say friends.
I did. But you have to look at these things. These are all things beyond the PITI of economics and the paying off the debt. What do you guys say?
I was waiting on the lead.
And you were going to lead with what?
I was waiting on you as our lead, is what I meant.
Oh my gosh! Would y'all get going here? I tell you.
I think that's so important, and I keep kind of coming back to my daughter with regards to these different shows. She's into
the Gen Xer, the Gen Zer, or the Millennial.
It's
Which
all
one?
Three of them. And she's taken upon this Dave Ramsey style of living, which, I do and I don't like. The part I love about it is that, she knows what every dime that comes in is going to be used for. She knows how it's going to be spent. She knows how it's going to go towards the cost of her living expenses, her house. And she keeps a real track of that. And her mom, of course, calls her the result of living with Budget Boy, Tom. I'm called Budget Boy around my family. And as a result of that, she's been able to, plan lots of different things. Her retirement, she's not even 30 yet, so she's got her retirement stuff that she looks at all the time. And she definitely has a lot more money in her retirement than I did at her age, which, of course, at her age, I had zero. But she's convinced, her soon-to-be husband or fiance is going through financial training as well. And this is one of those responsibility things that young folks, we don't raise kids in the school systems. We don't sit them down and teach them about fundamental finance. And that's kind of shameful it's more important to learn about the Alamo, and not that the Alamo is not important, but for 2 years of junior high, you learn about the Alamo when it would really help you understand better how life is going to be if there was a finance class that you were required to be able to be taking at the high school level. Because even those people that leave high school and don't go on to college need that capacity to understand, how do I do a budget? And that's kind of the basis of just being your own business owner. If you eventually open up your own, home repair place or your own bakery, or you're good at something like that and in passion to do it, the business side of it, owning a home is a business. And I know people would hate for me to say that, but the conversation that, just tortures me is when I hear, well, I've got a friend that lives down the street, or one of my friends that we interact with, they don't fix anything at home. They eat out 12 times a week. That's money down the toilet. Literally at one point or another, right? Sorry.
No, Tom, I couldn't agree with you more, because my daughter, she's in her mid-20s, 3 years in her career, and I'm pleasantly surprised and happy she's much more knowledgeable and frugal than I have ever been in my life.
How about that, right?
And I will say this, whether or not it's for everybody, I have some good friends who have also used that program as they've raised their family, and it's worked very well for them, that Dave Ramsey program. So it's out there for people that have never checked it out. I'm not a part of that, but yeah, it's about knowing what you can afford. It's the first time, for example, we bought our first house, and I was like, holy cow, honey, look what they approved us for. And she was like, slow down. Let's think about this. Let's look at our full bills before you go, man, look what we could go buy, because it was so much more than we needed to spend. absolutely with the cost of living. So there's no way you can stress that enough.
Very true. Very, very true. And it's funny, a lot of people don't understand what HOA are or what the possible utility cost would be for a home between gas, water, electrical, all of those sorts of things. And then, constant repair. I didn't hear any one of y'all say, you said budgeting, but again, it didn't talk about true savings. Have we lost the ability in the 60s and the 70s, people were saving 5 to 10% of their check. We don't even come to 1% right now on the average across America.
Well, how much?
We spend everything we got paycheck to paycheck.
How am I supposed to order Uber Eats? I'm sorry, y'all. I had to just say that because those things are the biggest. I'm like, I thought that pizza was $7. Why was my bill $21? I'll get on my soapbox.
Exactly, and it's a struggle for people to understand all of the costs that they go to the lifestyle they want. I want to go out to dinner. I want to go to the movies. I want to have entertainment each weekend. I want to. That's farm kids never knew how good they had it.
Well, and I wonder how much everyone uses a comparison as we sit in classes or talks. But how much does Starbucks love? That's just one Starbucks coffee a month. You could afford it. You can have this program.
Very true. Very true. Well, I think we've covered all of our questions for the day. Any final words?
Be smart. Find the right people to trust as your advisor when you enter this process. Take your time about it. I think that's the best thing I'd like to add. Always know when you get into position and you choose a lender and you choose a realtor to support you and help you through the process, just be wise, ask questions, and be mindful of who you're working with. How's that?
Wise words. Wow.
And if you have questions, where should they contact us?
WelcomeHomeRadio.net, right down there. Look at that. Our producer's awesome. He does a great job. He makes it good.
I think it's very cool how many places and people around the world are actually watching the three of us and our downloads. When we see the stats, I'm like, okay.
Hey, that's a good idea. Tell us right there on the questions. Tell us where you're listening from. That would be great to hear from you.
That would be cool.
Where it is.
Yes, please do.
God bless. Guys, take care of yourself. Have a great one. Thank you so much.
Take care.
Welcome Home Radio production provided by Lunatic Digital. Check the listing of this podcast for the links to our sponsors. And don't forget to like, share, and follow us on social media. Visit welcomehomeradio.net for more information. This was a Lunatic Digital production. Visit lunaticdigital.com for all your digital needs.